Good evening, I'm Keisha Butts with a CTV News update. 1 week into the new school year, the number of positive COVID-19 cases in classrooms and buildings continue to climb. The Prince George's school system reported 4 additional COVID cases late yesterday. The updated list includes Parkdale High and Skyline Administration Building. It also includes a second case at Charles Flowers. 62 cases have been reported at county schools and facilities since the beginning of the school year. In other news, here are the latest COVID-19 numbers for our region. The state health department has confirmed 1,189 new cases since yesterday. 200 of those are in Prince George's. The county's positivity rate is up slightly to 5.65%. 11 people have died of COVID since yesterday. 819 remain in the hospital. Maryland students and staff must now mask up inside all public schools. A state legislative committee voted 10-7 yesterday, mandating that everyone wear face coverings inside school facilities. The requirement takes effect immediately. The mandate will last for 180 days. Well, the suspect wanted in a District Heights homicide over the weekend has been arrested and charged. 32-year-old Delonte White of Landover has been charged with first-degree murder of 28-year-old Shakir Taylor of District Heights. Police say the fatal shooting stemmed from an ongoing dispute between the two. The incident happened Sunday around 8:30 p.m. in the 2000 block of Addison Road South. Another adult male and child were also shot. Both suffered non-life-threatening injuries. Gymnastics taking center stage on Capitol Hill today. Olympian Simone Biles was among a group of 4 gymnasts, all of whom were sexually abused by former USA Gymnastics Dr. Larry Nassar, who testified before the Senate Judiciary Committee. The athletes testified about their anger over the FBI's inaction surrounding Nassar's sex abuse of child athletes. In addition to Nassar, Biles blamed the organization created by Congress to protect athletes for failing to do their jobs.
To be clear, I blame Larry Nassar, and I also blame an entire system that enabled and perpetrated his abuse. USA Gymnastics and the United States Olympic and Paralympic Committee knew that I was abused by their official team doctor long before I was ever made aware of their knowledge.
Today's testimony follows the recent firing of an FBI agent for allegedly failing to properly investigate Nassar and later lying about it. You're watching CTV News. I'm Keisha Butts. Coming up, celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. Stay with us.
I don't remember how it started. Our back and forth. Victory. Fumble. Repeat. It always came back.
Dad!
Okay, here we go, throw it!
Yeah.
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Nice.
Welcome back. Today marks the beginning of Hispanic Heritage Month. Nearly 20% of Prince George's residents have roots in the Spanish-speaking world. A host of events will take place throughout the month to celebrate, with the highlight taking place this weekend.
It's just a celebration with activities for children, music, concerts. We have a whole array of activities, not only there, but throughout the other events in the county.
And can you tell me why it is so important to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month in Prince George's County?
We're celebrating the community. The community has changed, the demographics have changed. I started this work in 1990 when I came to the commission. It has continued and expanded to across the county. Started in the north part of the county. But the Hispanic Festival this year, as you know, we can't have it. It's a large event that attracts about 10,000 people. And because of COVID, what we are doing is doing smaller activities across the county.
For more information information on Hispanic heritage events throughout the month, log on to pgparks.com. In other news, men have been entering the workforce at a steady pace since the pandemic began. However, the number of women has dramatically dropped. According to a recent report from the Maryland Department of Labor, the state saw a net gain of 13,000 men between January 2020 and June 2021. But the number of women in the workforce fell by 57,000.
And the number one reason for this has been, to be honest, childcare. It's been the fact that the vast majority of childcare facilities have either had to shut down due to safety concerns or things of that nature during the pandemic. And many of them were suffering massive financial hardships. I believe it was reported a while back, maybe like June of last year, that 60% of childcare facilities were not going to be able to open because or remain open because of lack of funding, lack of ability to pay their employees' wages, and safety concerns. And you also have to factor in the fact that the vast majority of employment opportunities that women are disproportionately in are areas like childcare, retail, restaurants. So those were specifically hit hardest by the pandemic.
Tomorrow we'll hear about which group of women has been hit the hardest during the pandemic. The Prince George's County Democratic Central Committee has selected a longtime political activist to fill a House of Delegates vacancy. The panel nominated Central Committee Chair Cheryl Landis to represent District 23B for the next 16 months. That seat was held by Delegate Ron Watson, who was recently tapped to fill the state Senate seat that was held by Doug Peters until his resignation in July. Landis received 21 of 24 votes with 2 abstentions. Governor Larry Hogan has 15 days to make the appointment official. Montgomery County is changing its quarantine guidelines for public school students. Under the new rules, students who exhibit COVID-related symptoms will receive a rapid COVID test. If students test positive, they'll be sent home along with anyone who had close contact with them. Parental consent is required for the rapid test and now can be given over the phone. The district's previous quarantine policy came under fire as hundreds of students were sent home due to possible COVID-19 exposure. A longtime Board of Education member in Montgomery County suddenly dies. Patricia O'Neill was serving her 6th term when she died yesterday at the age of 71. She had been on the board since 1998 and served countless times as president and vice president. According to her family, she slumped over at home while watching a live stream meeting of the Montgomery County Council. Paramedics were unable to revive her. Another symbol of the Confederacy is coming down. Members of the Talbot County Council voted last night 3-2 to take down the controversial Talbot Boy statue from the lawn of the courthouse, where it stood centuries since 1916. The effort to remove the statue, which honors 85 Talbot County residents who fought for the Confederacy, goes back years. The resolution calls for it to come down as soon as is practicable. Its new home will be a privately owned park in Harrisonburg, Virginia. And still ahead on the news, a Terps football preview, plus we check in on Jupiter, our pet of the week. She's looking for a loving home, perhaps yours. Stay with us.
Practicing meditation, mindfulness, or other spiritual practices can help ground you. For more tips, visit coping-19.org.
Being a father is an honor, a challenge, a duty, a celebration, and a testimony. I want to be legendary for you. I walk taller because of you, because I found everything to live for.
Thank you for staying with us. As we've reported this week, 3 local classical music legends passed away recently: Corbin Balthrop, Michael Morgan, and Reginald Bouknight. Tenor Reginald Bouknight grew up in Washington, D.C. He had an extensive career. Among his many accomplishments, he starred in a production of Porgy and Bess at the Metropolitan Opera and Carnegie Hall. Neville Otley of the Otley Music School remembers the first time she worked with Bouknight.
Reggie sang with the Neville Otley Singers when we were doing Tremonisha. This is back in the 80s, and he sang the part of Remus. That's Scott Joplin's opera on education being the way to freedom. And he was Remus. He was the young teenager who was learning how to read. Tremonisha was teaching him. And since then, we have known him all these years.
Bouknight passed away in July. Otley says the work of Carmen Balthrop, Michael Morgan, and Reginald Bouknight will continue at her school. The County Council continues to make funding for domestic violence prevention programs a priority. Lawmakers set aside $500,000 for domestic violence grant programs in the current fiscal year. The money will go to local nonprofits that help provide housing, mental health services, and job training for survivors.
So we did what County Council could do. We invested in community organizations, nonprofit organizations who focused on domestic violence. And we kind of focused their work and tried to force collaboration where there weren't collaborations prior between those entities. And we really tried to make sure that any monies that we invested were seeds to plant those types of opportunities.
This is the 6th consecutive year that the council has provided grant money to domestic violence related programs. For more information, visit pgccouncil.us/DVGP. Otters, chimps, and lions are among animals that will soon receive COVID-19 shots at the Maryland Zoo in Baltimore. Over the next few months, the zoo will begin administering 2-dose vaccines to 30 of its animals. A company called Zoetis will provide 11,000 free doses to mammals in 70 different zoos and animal care facilities. Big cats will be the first in line for the vaccine. Keepers are concerned that the staff could unwittingly transfer the virus to the animals. Caregivers have been donning face shields and masks since the beginning of the pandemic. If you're looking for a new best friend, look no further. You see this beautiful dog smiling. Her name is Jupiter, and she loved to come home with you. Animal Management Chief Rodney Taylor says Jupiter is a 4-year-old Labrador Retriever mix.
As you see, her disposition is great. She's been house trained a little bit. She just needs a little more work, but she would do great with a family that have kids because she got to still have energy. Or if you're an older dog and you just want a dog to kind of hang out with you at a park, she'll do well doing that as well.
Do you know what she likes to do for fun?
She certainly likes chase balls, so you can play with the frisbee and the ball, and you take her outside, she'll run for days.
To adopt Jupiter, call 301-780-7200. College football news. After starting the season with 2 wins at home in College Park, the Terps have their first Big Ten Conference game on Friday night, traveling to Champaign, Illinois to take on the 1-2 Fighting Illini. This will be a special game for the Terps head coach Mike Loxley and special teams coordinator Ron Zook. Loxley was the offensive coordinator for the University of Illinois from 2005 to 2008. Zook was the Illinois head coach at the time.
You know, on my return to Illinois, obviously a place probably other than Maryland that for me and my family, a special place. Raised my kids there. I had my two older sons both graduated from high school there. It was a special opportunity. It was the first time I had a chance to be a coordinator, and not surprising that a guy like Ron Zook would give me that opportunity, you know, at 36 years old to run the offense, and we did some really good things. Year 3, we're able to take a team to the Rose Bowl. Those things are in the past. This is the 21 Terps, the 21 Illini, and, you know, other than the fact that, you know, Champaign-Urbana to me is next to Maryland, place, like I said, my kids call home. We're excited about the opportunity.
Just another game. Got to treat it as such. Preparation doesn't change. Mentality doesn't change. Nothing changes. We're just playing on a different day. We're playing in front of a different crowd for the first time this season.
Friday's game will kick off at 9 p.m. Well, let's get a quick check on our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a low around 70. Expect a chance of showers Thursday and Friday with daytime temps in the mid-80s. Saturday, partly sunny with a high near 84. And now for the community calendar, bring your favorite canine out to the ballpark. Tonight concludes Woof Wednesdays at the Bowie Bay Sox Stadium. The team takes on the Pennsylvania Altoona Curve at 6:35 p.m. All dogs must have proper tags and updated vaccines. The park is only accepting the first 100 pups. For more information, visit milb.com/Bowie. And that wraps up your CTV News Update. Join us again tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. I'm Keisha Butts. Have a good night.